Good evening, everybody. How y'all doing? Yes, this is another episode of Real Love Ministry Live. Yes, we're live with the beautiful Veronique Pierre. I am going to be your host for the evening. I am Desiree Williams Hall of Real Love Ministries, and I am so excited to have Miss Veronique Pierre with us. She is an author, a philanthropist, a mental health activist, so many different hats. She's a mom. I just don't know how she does it all. But listen, I call her my Haitian beauty. She is gorgeous, right, y'all? How you doing, Veronique?
I'm good. How are you?
I am great. I'm feeling so much better. Oh my God. So I'm just trying to get back into, adjusting to my normal self.
Oh,
Yes.
wow. That's good. I love
How
your
are
hat.
you? Thank you.
You have to give me that hat.
This is my Forever 21 special, honey. When I saw it, I was like, yes, this is mine. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So I am so glad to have you with me on tonight on Real Love Ministries Live. And you have a dynamic, redemptive testimony that I would love for you to share. You overcame mental health. You went through a divorce, abuse. You had so much going on, and I don't want to give it all away. I want you to share all of that with us. First off, tell us who Veronique Pierre is.
Yes, I'm Veronique Pierre, and basically, Veronique Pierre is a mother of three. I'm a founder of a nonprofit organization called Roses Without Thorns, Inc. I graduated from Nova Southeastern University with my master's degree in business administration and minor in marketing. I love to shop. I love to spend time with family. I love to travel. I love to dance. I'm just a very outgoing person.
Awesome. Now, Veronique, you have, like I said at the beginning, you have a dynamic testimony.
Yes.
Can you just take us a little bit, like create this whole mini movie right now, right? Because I know our time is real short. So create this little mini movie, a short clip of Veronique Pierre's life.
Basically, my life currently right now, I have a T-shirt line which is called which is Jesus with Therapy. It's basically I'm all about mental health. I'm an advocate for mental health. I have a nonprofit organization for mental health where I mentor teenage girls between the ages of 13 to 18. I'm a mother of three, so I have my kids are in sports, so I'm constantly running around and taking them to practice. I'm doing stuff in the community. I help other nonprofit organizations as far as feeding the homeless, taking supplies to either elementary school, middle school, high school, and domestic violence. I also help my cousin out with her domestic violence nonprofit organization. So wow. I'm just all around person.
Awesome. So now you wrote the book, and we're going to talk about this book. Mm-hmm. The Strongest Woman in the World is You. Now, yes. What inspired you to write that book? There it is. Y'all look at that purple. It is glowing. Yes. So tell us what inspired you to write that book. What is The Strongest Woman in the World all about?
Yes, it's basically, I wrote the book let me just piggyback to go back. My background, I had a lot of, past trauma and family death. And it started off when I was in a young age, when my father passed away at a young age. That was one of the, when I went to the therapist, and that was one of the seeds that was planted. And then, when my sister was murdered, when I was in senior year, my high school year, 8 months pregnant with my first child, that was the second seed. And then the third seed was when my mother passed away a few years later after my sister was murdered. And then the final straw was when I went through a divorce with my ex-husband. So those are the little things the layers that help with my depression and my anxiety. And then, I went to the therapist, and the therapist basically was able to point out the root cause of, why I was going through what I was going through as far as depression. So therefore, I started, doing things that will basically help me cope with the depression, anxiety, to get me out of that state. So I wrote the book, and I basically it has different type of techniques that I completed, as far as hobbies, as far as, investing into, self-care, self-love, different things that you can do, as far as reading the Bible verses that can help you out as well. And then, I decided, what, this is something that can also help other people that's going through the same thing as well, that has depression, that has anxiety, so they can have a starter kit, like a guide, a 28-day guide,
Right.
where they can, help them with depression. So that's why I wrote the book, to help other people that's going through depression as well.
Great, great. Now, let's deal with the mental health, the
Mhm.
depression, because in this day and time during the pandemic, so many people are dealing with depression due to the isolation, due to fear of just dying.
Mhm.
It's so many other things that they're dealing with in this state. Now, some may feel that they're not depressed. A lot of people are in denial
Mhm.
about depression. A lot of people have, funny feeling about even going or seeing a therapist. So
Mhm.
tell us, what made you, number one, realize that, hey, I am going through depression. I am depressed. I need to
Mhm.
seek out help. What gave you the motivation to even take that first step to come out of, I don't know if you were in denial, but just to come out and say, you know what, I can't do this alone, I need help?
I probably was one of those people. I was in denial as well, because I didn't know that I was in depression. It took, several people to point it out. The first was my cousin. She's a psychologist, and she
Mhm.
basically came and visited me. And she was like, "You're not the Veronique, the bubbly Veronique, the outgoing Veronique, the person who always comes over to my mother's house. You're a people person. You always come over there. You always spend time with family. And for you to not spend time with family, going months without spending time with family, she automatically trigger, okay, something's wrong, something's up with her. So then she's seeing that, okay, she's not eating, she's losing weight, she's losing mass
Wow.
amount of weight. So she's like, okay, you're not normal. So she pinpoint, okay, you're going through depression. And then I also had a breakdown at work as well. And then my coworker, I just had a complete meltdown. My coworker's like, okay, you're having a meltdown. You're not in no way healthy to go pick up your son from aftercare. So therefore, you know what, I'm gonna pick up your son for you. You go take care of yourself.
Wow.
So, going through those stages and people pointing out, okay, you're not healthy. That's when it hit me like, okay, I am going through depression and I need professional help. I need someone to pinpoint and let me know, okay, what is the root cause? What is the reason why I'm going through what I'm going through right now? And what can I do to get better? Because I do want to be a better version for not only for myself, but for my kids as well. So therefore, when I went to the therapist, that's when the therapist started pointing out, okay, these are the reasons why you're going through what you're going through, and probably the reasons why you're making the decisions that you're making, because you had a lot of death in your family from a very young age. You had people that you really loved that left you. And then these are the reasons why you're depressed, because you suppressed it. You basically, one seed was planted, you put in a jar, you close the lid. Another seed was planted, you close the jar, you close the lid. And then as the seeds were being planted, you finally exploded. The divorce was basically the last straw where you actually had your complete meltdown. And that's when she's like, this is the reason why you're going through what you're going through. So I think I was one of those people that was also in denial, and it took people that love me to actually point out like, hey, you're not healthy, you're going through this and you need professional help. And that's when I decided to invest into professional help. So if anybody that's going through any type of depression or anxiety, the symptoms, and I'm only speaking for myself, and I am a certified mental health first aid advocate. I'm not, I just want to put, I'm not a psychologist or psychiatrist, but this is also speaking from experience, is that you notice that there's a change in behavior. There's a change
Mhm.
in the way they act. There's a change in the way they think. And, it's not usually healthy. It's like I don't want to say negative, but it's a negative type of change of a habit, where they're going probably days or weeks or months without, speaking to someone. They're being isolated, or they're not eating healthy, they're not self-motivated to do anything. Those are typical signs that you tell that someone's probably going through depression or, anxiety.
Yes, that's good information, because a lot of
Mhm.
times, we as people, we feel like we can handle everything,
Mhm.
especially as women. Sometimes we feel that we can handle everything. And you said something, one seed was sowed, and okay, we kind of suppress that, then
Yeah.
another, we suppress it, and another, and it's like, then you get to the point like, how much can I bear? And you
Mhm.
just explode, instead of going and seeking help, or just
Mhm.
releasing it and not trying to
Mhm.
hold it all in and trying to handle it on your own, because definitely there's going to be a time that you're going to explode. But thank God allows people, he brings people into our
Mhm.
lives to extend that helping hand. And
Mhm.
when that helping hand is extended, we have to pray and ask God, listen, God, is these people are really for us, to give us the wisdom and the guidance to help us through. And so I'm so glad that you caught on to that helping hand, from your cousin and your coworker, to pretty much help you and navigate you through this situation.
Mhm.
Let's talk about, you said the last straw, and we deal with family and relationship a lot of
Mhm.
times, and and
Mhm.
and the divorce. And I know divorce is heavy. That's really heavy. How
Mhm.
did you manage to get through that state?
It wasn't easy at first because I was in a toxic marriage. I was in an abusive marriage. And then, I was with my ex-husband for 23 years.
Hmm.
So, when you with someone nearly your entire life, and then, separating from that person, going from being a married woman to now a single mother, though, all those layers being peeled off of you, you have to try to find yourself all over again. You have to
Right.
find out, what do you like, what do you don't like, who you are, and you have to basically dig deep and reinvent yourself all over again. So it wasn't easy at first, as far as going through the whole divorce process, because once you with me, I don't know about everyone else, but it took me 3 years to get out of the marriage.
Hmm.
And going through that for 3 years, that was another layer that had me go through depression as well, because the extended amount of time. Because once you have kids, usually the judge, they want to, cross their T's, dot their I's to make sure everything is, you do go through the entire process before they actually, finalize the divorce. So it wasn't easy, as far as, finding myself, overcoming depression, and then, finalizing my divorce. That wasn't easy, as far as, dealing with being in a domestic relationship as well, overcoming domestic relationship. So, to me, the first thing I had to do was, okay, I had to get closer to God.
Hmm.
I had to get back into the church. I had to get back into praying, devotion. Not only that, then the second step, I had to hire a professional to help me with, my mental illness. And then the third step, I had to, find out what my triggers are, find out the things that I like, the things I don't like, and find out, my hobbies, my interests, and try to reinvent myself all over again. So those are the, certain steps that I took to, help myself to heal and to become whole again.
Yes. Now you said something about your relationship with
Mhm.
your husband, that it was toxic, and I know that maybe a lot of women, men, even men, that are listening right now, that may be in a toxic relationship. What was the toxic that you were dealing with in your relationship? And I'm going to throw out a two-part question. How
Mhm.
did you get out? What was that wow factor, and say, you know what, that's it?
It was toxic because he was abusive, physically abusive, and he was an alcoholic. He was also a cheater. The final straw is when I looked at my son after having my son. It was a few months after having my son. And then, I looked at my son and I realized, I didn't want my son to grow up to be like this. I didn't want my son to, grow up putting his hands on a woman. I didn't want my son thinking that this was okay. And, that's when I realized that I needed to get out. I wanted better for my kids. And, once I decided that, I had to make a plan, okay, how much money do I have saved up in an account? How I'm going to be able to take care of myself. So that's when I started making my exit plan. Once I made my exit plan, I spoke with my pastor's wife, and she basically said, it's in the Bible, if he cheats you, and you're not, I don't think God will be happy with you suffering, so you can leave, and you can get remarried, and you're still young. So I just started doing things that I needed to do to get out of that marriage, and I created an exit plan. I made sure that I had to. Was it easy? Did it go all as planned? No. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. It didn't go as planned, because it took 3 years to get out. So and trying to figure out how to get out of that marriage, and then try to figure out how I'm going to take care of myself and then my kids, not having that extra income, that extra layer, or that extra cushion to lean on. I had to basically downgrade a lot of things. I had to change a lot of things. I had to figure out how I'm going to take care of myself and my kids again. I had to figure out how I'm going to not only take care of myself the tangible way, but also take care of myself the internal way as well, in the spiritual way and mental way. So it's like it is a process, but you have to, if anyone's going through this, the first thing I would say is that build that relationship with Christ first. Once you build that relationship with Christ, whatever chaos that you're going through, whatever that you're going through, is going to keep you sane. He's going to give you that protection. He's going to bring people into your life that's going to help you. He's going to give you a direction which way you should go, guidance, and guide you which way you should go, because it's some people may have it easy and some people may not have it. For my situation, it wasn't easy, but having God on my side and knowing that, there was going to be a light at the end of the tunnel, that I was going to be okay, and I'm still okay. Like, God made it possible. God still was able to, make sure that me and my kids were okay. God was still able to make sure that, that I was still able to survive without having that extra cushion. So that's basically the motivation I just give anyone that's going through that or thinking about that. And I want to also put out there, I'm not for divorce. I am not for divorce. For my situation, it was different, because I could have been 6 feet under. So if your marriage is able to be saved, do everything possible. Go to counseling, go to trustworthy people that's going to help you, salvage your marriage. But if you're in a toxic relationship where it's considered life and death, then to me, I would rather you live. I would rather you live instead of to be 6 feet under. But if you are, in a relationship, say it's just a disagreement, I'm trying to work that out. I'm not for divorce. I want to put it out there. I'm not for divorce, but I definitely, to me, your well-being is more important to me than anything.
Yes. And I'm so glad that you added that at the end, because I am not about divorce either. However, when you're in a toxic relationship, like you said, and when it comes down to life and death, you have to make a decision. And a lot of times we stay, we worry about the how, when, why, and where. But we have to shift our focus on God, like you said, build that strong relationship, because the word of God says, trust in the Lord with all thine heart and lean not to your own understanding. And if you acknowledge him, he will direct your path. So, and I'm a living witness. I didn't go through the whole stages of divorce, but, that was something that we talked about very heavily at the beginning when we started going through. But I had to learn that we had to trust God, and seek wise counsel. Wise counsel was very important. And but if you're in that state where it's very toxic, physical, verbal abuse, where it's life and death, get out. I'm gonna just say it. Just get out. Get out. Don't worry about the how, when, where, why. Trust God to guide you through, because I'm a living witness that he will allow people to come in your way that will be a blessing to you. So, just seek the face of God, like you said, and get out of that toxic relationship. Your life is worth so much more than what you're going through, and I'm just so thankful. I want to get back to the book, the titling of the book, and I can see why you named it The Strongest Woman, because it's like, wow, you have gone through so much, and you definitely don't look like what you have been through. So just let us know, why did you name the book The Strongest Woman in the World Is You?
Because I want people to understand, especially females, like a lot of times, especially a black female
Mm-hmm.
in this world, they always want you to put that armor that you're strong. You
Mm-hmm.
know, they want you to, like you're not supposed to have any type of weakness. And I want people to understand your weaknesses, your mental illness, anything. It's okay to be human. It's okay to go through things. You still are the strongest woman in the world. And that's why I named that book, because regardless of what I went through, I'm still the strongest woman in the world. Do I want to be the strongest woman in the world? No, probably not. I want my superhero. I'm going to be honest. I want my superhero. But to me, I don't consider, what I went through or, me overcoming depression as far as a weakness. I still consider myself the strongest woman in the world.
Awesome. Awesome. And I just applaud you. I'm telling you, when I first met you, it was like an instant
Yes,
connection.
we click like, I'm like, did I
Hey,
know
baby,
you?
I see you before. Yeah. It's like we just instantly connected. And I just admire your strength. Even after I heard your story, I'm like, wow, that is amazing. And you are strong. And I know that God is your strength, and that was something that you always said, I had to build that strong relationship with God. And I just want to tell everybody that is out there listening, build that relationship with God. If you feel that you're not able to make it, that you're just broken into pieces and you don't see a way out, lean on God. Lean on God. Stop trusting everything else and trust God. And Veronique, the time is running short, and I know that you have to go. And I just thank you so much for
You're
taking
welcome.
out
Thank you for
time
having me.
tonight to share your story. And we want you all to purchase her book, The Strongest Woman in the World Is You. Can you tell them how can they connect with you? How can they get your book, purchase your book? And I just want you to leave an encouraging word for those that are listening that may be going through something, that feel like giving up, and they turned on this broadcast and they heard Veronique Pierre. They heard you, a beautiful young lady that don't look like what they've been through, saying you can make it. So just share with us in these last moments.
And like you said, you can make it. It's okay if you feel like you can't go on. It's okay to pause. It's okay to rest, but don't give up. Don't give in. Definitely pray. Definitely build that relationship with God. Definitely try to find trustworthy people that's going to not judge you, that's going to support you, that's going to love you, that's going to understand you, and push you through, and also hold you accountable.
Yeah.
But just don't give up. Just keep going. Just take one step at a time. Don't look at anyone else. Don't compare yourself to anyone else. Just worry about your journey. Worry about what you're doing. If you're not able to make a plan, ask for help. It's okay to ask for help. Don't feel like, because I was one of those people that I was afraid to ask for help. But then I realized that I needed to ask for help. And then that opened so many doors for me by asking for help. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to rest. It's okay to
Yes.
pause. But just once you pause, shake yourself off and just keep going. Just don't give up. Just keep praying and just keep moving forward. And that's it. Just
Awesome. Awesome. So
blessings.
tell them how they can connect with you. How can they purchase your book?
They can purchase my book on Amazon, and they can connect with me on Instagram as well as Facebook and LinkedIn. My name is all the same on all three platforms. It's Veronique Pierre, and you can connect with me that way.
Awesome. Veronique, thank you so much once again for being on Real Love Ministries Live. We just thank you for sharing your story. And I just encourage all of our listening audience to please support her. Purchase her book, The Strongest Woman in the World Is You. Even if you're a man, the strongest man in the world is you. You are strong. And a lot of times we don't realize how strong we are until we're in a situation and come through it, and it's only by the grace of God that we're able to make it day by day and make it through it. So Veronique, I just thank you so very much for sharing your story and taking out time to be with us on today on Real Love Ministries Live. You are awesome. You are
Thank
beautiful.
you.
And I just thank God, for his redemptive powers over your life.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
I appreciate it. Have a blessed one. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. And we thank you all for listening. So stay tuned. We have another show coming up tomorrow. It is our Night of Passion prom night recap. The prom night has been postponed for this year due to COVID. But however, I want you all to tune in tomorrow at 8 p.m. My husband, Eddie, will be joining me, and it is going to be fun as we talk about prom night. And once again, thanks so much, Veronique Pierre. Yes. Hallelujah.
Bye.
Okay. Good night, everybody.